From the Live X Studios in New York City, CHTV brings you two guys who like to think they know something about football.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Packer Transplants Live. I am Aaron Nagler, and joining me, as always, is Mr. Corey Behnke, my partner here at Cheesehead TV. I'm coming to you from Nagler Studios, deep in the heart of Astoria, Queens. Corey joins us across the street from Lambeau Field, and we are ready to talk some Packers. What do we have on tap today, Corey?
Today, we celebrate the fact that the Packers just keep winning and look ahead to Jordan Love leading a ragtag group of youngsters into the divisional round against the mighty 49ers. But right now, it's time for the good, the bad, and the ugly. We got the good. We got
Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? I'm at the other end of the field with the ball in my hand, putting up over 100 yards.
We got the bad. We got
pulling your starters way too early.
We got the ugly. We got
Jerry Jones. Corey Behnke, let me tell you something. It is always a good day when Jerry Jones loses. That's just something, that's a creed I live by. It is just beautiful. It's just wonderful to watch his team lose to the Packers on a big stage. You love to see it.
True story.
How you doing, brother?
True story. Doing
How's
good.
your week going?
It's going good, except for I just accidentally watched Craig Carton talk about how we're going to lose against the 49ers, and then was reminded that he spent a year in federal prison, and why am I listening to a fucking idiot?
I don't know. That's a choice you made. I would suggest
yeah,
not doing
well,
that
TikTok
again.
made it for me. TikTok algorithm. I don't like you right now. You're in the doghouse. I don't like it.
I love it. Well,
like
you know what you do like? You know what you do like? You like the hotness. Let's get to it. Oh, yeah. It's time for the hotness. And obviously, when you score 48 freaking points, there's a lot to choose from when it comes to the hotness. But I think I probably picked the most obvious one because it's so fucking awesome and hot, as it were. Let's take a look at this touchdown throw to Wicks from Jordan Love, identifying the pressure, getting everybody on the same page, sending Wicks in motion. Look at the pressure. I mean, everyone's coming, and just enough of a hop step, take a beat, make sure Wicks clears that linebacker. You see Jordan Love make sure the middle of the field is going to be open enough for him to get this ball up and over. Look at this. And then finally, look at this shot from NFL Films. Look at this. Oh, that's just gorgeous. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the hotness. Love to see it. Absolutely love to see it.
Zero blitz. Can you imagine if I would have told you last year when Jordan went in and like after not being able to respond to many blitzes that he would get this far, and it's pretty incredible. A lot of people say,
a really good point. That's a really good point.
It's incredible.
Comparing that first start against the Chiefs to that.
Yeah, and he could have, and that's what they did. They blitzed the hell out of him. And what's crazy is the last 3 weeks they've been trying to blitz him. And the fact, I mean, Dallas, I was saying this in the Patreon happy hour, but, you know, what's crazy is if you watch the Buccaneers game, the Buccaneers were zero blitzing like every play. I mean, it just felt like they were just running over people. And Dallas was trying to do that, and really the opposite effect. We definitely made them pay for, or I say we, but Jordan made them pay. And our friend Aaron Jones, can't say enough about the guy, but I know we're going to get into that, and we got to eat our vegetables. But holy crap, is Aaron Jones in the last 4 games? He is the difference maker. Besides Jordan, he really is. His blocks, I was watching quarterback school, and like the 2 blocks that they pointed out, wow, incredible. Just for small, he's not a big guy, and the fact that he can block Micah Parsons leads us to believe there might be some good to happen against our buddy Nick Bosa.
Oh, man. You talk about a tall task, and you're spot on, though. The idea that, Jordan and Matt LaFleur, you got to give Matt credit for having a plan for Jordan, because that's the interesting thing. You're talking about that, Eagles-Buccaneers game, and the Buccaneers having no regard for human life as far as sending pressure again and again and again. Hurts didn't have a plan. The Eagles didn't have a plan for it at all.
No.
And that's something Kurt Warner has pointed out time and time again, and something that Matt LaFleur has done a great job of over the course of the last month or so. I mean, they've faced so many teams that do like to send pressure, whether it's been the Giants or the Vikings. You know, they've done a much better job since the Bucs game, because remember, the Bucs slowed them down a little bit with some of that pressure. But yeah, you've seen Jordan Love have every answer. Like, it hasn't mattered what you've tried to do, what kind of blitz you've tried to throw at him. He's got the answer, and that's thanks to Matt LaFleur. You know, putting those mechanisms in place, knowing where to go with the ball, knowing who to adjust to what. It's been a really impressive kind of cohesion on offense. We'll get to the offense in a bit. Like you said, we got to eat our vegetables. We got to talk about Packers news, and the most unfortunate headline coming out of that game was Kingsley Enagbare going down with a torn ACL. Team hasn't officially announced it yet. He's still officially on the roster. Got to suspect that will undoubtedly happen this weekend when they make their roster moves, bring people up from the practice squad, what have you. It stinks. I mean, he was having a decent year. I think he was having a really solid second season. You know, you're obviously going to need to call on Brenton Cox Jr. most likely up from the practice squad, but you've got to think you're going to see a lot more Lucas Van Ness in this game on Saturday night due to this unfortunate development. The other unfortunate development is Jair Alexander was not at practice today after Matt LaFleur talked about, it was a rehab day yesterday and hopefully he would be out there today. That did not materialize. And Corey, I got to let you know, this scares the hell out of me going into San Francisco without the potential of going into San Francisco without Jair. I don't like it. I'm not enthused.
I mean, I hear you. Valentine did a good job when he was suspended, and I know that's not a playoff game, but no, you're
right. Next man up.
The next man up mentality of this team is not anything to shake a stick at, and they've literally showed all year that they can do it. But yeah, I still think Jair will play, though. I don't know. I mean, if you look at,
I'm really hoping.
I was actually surprised. I said this 2 weeks ago that I was surprised on the last game that they didn't give Valentine more snaps, even though Jair was in, and just because you feel like the guy's got to get a little bit of playing time just with how well they played.
He's played well, in the zone scheme, some of the stuff they've asked him to do. Yeah, he gets beat on occasion, but who doesn't? Hell, Jair got beat down in Carolina. Corners get beat sometimes. But I think, to your point, he has played some quality snaps for them throughout the year. They're going to need him to if Jair is unable to go, obviously. And then finally, A.J. Dillon was back on the practice field. I didn't really see a report as far as if anyone indicated how much he actually did at practice, but just the fact that he's out there, clearly a good sign. He has been dealing with that stinger for now, 2 weeks? Didn't practice yesterday, but was finally out there today. I got to tell you, I know people are rightfully so, don't put AJ in there to steal carries away from Aaron Jones. And I don't think that would be the plan. But I love the idea of AJ spelling Aaron Jones when he needs a break in this game in particular against this defense. And potentially against, in these kind of conditions. Supposed to be a little bit of light rain. So raining all weekend through the 49ers kind of area. So, yeah, I like potentially getting AJ back for this game in particular. I don't mind it. Let's talk about that offense and Jordan Love being in total control, because it is – Corey, I've got to say, we talked about it on Happy Hour last night, but I can't remember growth at that position this quickly over the course of a season. I've certainly seen guys who've had rough starts to their career who've gone on and become much better, or even, grown to become, let's say, really, really good quarterbacks. But I have never seen someone look as kind of disjointed as Jordan looked at times earlier this season. Now, some of that's his teammates, some of that's the scheme. So there's a lot going on there. But he's the one making the throws. He's the one making the decisions, and he was making some questionable ones and some bad ones. And now you fast forward, since that loss to the Vikings, he has been absolutely unbelievable in a way that I'm shocked. I mean, I thought he'd be good. I thought he'd be, he'll come on, he'll be first-year starter. There will be struggles, and he'll have his ups and downs. I thought, there are going to be some high points, but I don't know about you, Corey, but I'm flabbergasted at how well he's playing.
I mean, I definitely think there's 3 chapters to this season, and I think that the first chapter was, maybe 3 or 4 players not doing their 1/11th, which makes it look like shit is just fucked up. The Bears game looked good, right? The Bears game looked good. When he falls over, everybody points to that one play. Like, who wasn't listening to him when he audibled, right? So, like, he takes the brunt for when 3 or 4 guys are making major mistakes in the game. And so I feel like that was the middle part of the season. But the big thing, and, I go back to quarterback school when he's talking about the big next level that Jordan took is this whole back foot throwing shit that he's been doing the last 2 weeks, which is just mind-boggling. Because where did that come from? You have to go back to him playing in like college, and it's almost like he was like, all right, I'm going to play in rhythm. And JT O'Sullivan talks about how the 2 games before the last game, he's really playing in rhythm. He's really doing that kind of stuff really well. And then all of a sudden, the last game of the season into this playoff game, it's back foot city, mainly because he has people in his face at all times and he has no other option. But just, I agree with you. I don't think anybody, even the most optimistic of us, saw what's happening right now, thought that what could happen is happening. I could see us winning against Dallas. I didn't have a lot of faith in it, but I didn't see Jordan Love just taking over. I mean, yes, I 100% agree that Matt LaFleur was just a genius play caller in that game, and he's the Matt LaFleur play caller we've all been waiting for this season. And I wonder, we talked about this we talked about early in the season where, do these coaches know what they have? And the incredible piece, I really feel like had Jordan Love inherited the same thing Aaron Rodgers had, would he have been as bad as he was in the middle of the season? But the fact that he's actually doing this with the youngest people that have ever been assembled in the playoffs –
right.
I mean, that's crazy. Like, the most mature person, and also the number, in my opinion, the number one reason why we have the most secret weapon, not so secret, is Aaron Jones. Like, the most mature person on our team is Aaron Jones, the specialist who carries us through the through line of, this just veteran guy, right? He is our number one veteran guy. And we kind of got really lucky in the fact that we had him on a snap count most of the season, the fact that he was a little bit dinged up most of the season, and the last 4 games from Aaron Jones have just been some of the most historically, I think, relevant running back play in Green Bay Packers history.
I was thinking about this afternoon because I heard someone mention it on some podcast somewhere. I can't remember which one. Sorry, guys. But is this the best stretch of his career? It seems like it statistically is. You know what I mean? As far as production goes. And Aaron Jones, he does it all. Here's the thing. He's not only doing everything you're asking on the ground, right? Like, we all see that production, and it's certainly helped the offense go to another level. But then you look at what you were talking about earlier as far as pass protection. Going up, stepping up, and taking on the best pass rushers in the league.
The best,
I mean, Jones... What can't this cat do? The one thing they haven't really leaned into in any kind of significant way is his ability out of the backfield as a pass catcher. Now, the one time they did, I love the play towards the red zone. Remember the play where they motioned? He's lined up initially outside, and then they motion him inside, and there's 3 blockers in front of him, and then he kind of takes it back to the left side and gets it first and goal. I figured out they stole that from the Cowboys.
Yeah, I saw
that was a play that the Cowboys ran,
and that's
Cowboys ran that against them last year.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, well, and where they had quad, right? They had quad left side.
Yep, the four to the left. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, that was a great play call. That was a great play. No, his pass blocking, and it's what set people like Dorsey Levens apart, right? Dorsey Levens,
sir.
Edgar Bennett, even Ryan Grant when he was playing really well. It's like that's the level you need, and it's the level. Honestly, we talk about A.J. Dillon. A.J. Dillon, middle of the season, was really starting to come on as a pass blocker in a really good way. So I'm really excited if we can get him in the mix there because he's clearly a better pass blocker than Wilson or anybody else that we have that's not named Aaron Jones as far as running backs go. And, just want to shout out – well, not really a shout out, but can we
– oh, boy.
Josiah DeGuara, you're killing.
Hey, wait.
Oh,
He did
my
enough
God. Did you see?
plays.
He literally had the same
Yes, I
play
know.
that Musgrave and Kraft had early on. He motions, completely whips on the block. It's just like,
But
can we
there's
just give?
also
Can we
other
just?
plays.
Can we just? Can we just end the Josiah DeGuara experiment? I'm done with it. Why are you playing Josiah DeGuara over Kraft or Musgrave? Why? Why?
It's Ben Sims' time. No, he's playing mostly over Sims, not those two. Mostly.
Well, Ben Sims at least had a catch. Can Ben Sims block better than DeGuara? I mean, I feel Josiah DeGuara is a liability. I'm sorry. He's a liability.
Now you sound like specific Packers personnel people heading into Seattle talking about your favorite boy, Brandon
Bostic is a liability. Yeah,
Yep.
he should have been fired like way early in the season.
Way earlier.
Yeah, no. That kind of stuff really makes you feel good in life.
Ted liked him. Wanted to keep him around. Said he can still help us, and he certainly
not going to say anything bad about Ted, but he was starting in the whole thing, and Ted liking anybody in that.
That's a rough moment. That's a rough moment.
Yeah,
it's a rough moment.
That's a rough. Honestly, somebody one day will write the book about that period.
We need to write a book
history.
that stretch. See, the problem with that is like
specifically
who's
about
that book
Ted
besides you and me. Like
I
we'd read that
I
book.
Know.
I know. Like 10 nerds would read that book, and that would be it. So if you're out there as a publisher and you're dying, like you're trying to throw some money away, hit us up. We'll write the book, and people can read it. Finally, speaking of LaFleur, he's in his bag. Not only is he stealing from the Cowboys, he's stealing from Miami. He's stealing from everybody and calling these plays at the perfect time. How many times have we seen things get set up earlier in the game? I mean, don't look any further than Musgrave standing there so alone and so wide open. I love that replay because he literally has to look the ball and make sure it's in his hand before he turns, because it's like you're so open.
Yeah.
You have an hour to think about it as that ball is kind of falling down towards you, and you're like, did I leave the gas on? Oh, right. Okay, the ball, right. I mean, LaFleur's in his bag.
It is kind of ridiculous.
And he's at the right perfect time. You talk about the players playing their best down the stretch here. LaFleur has hit his stride at the exact same time, and it is fucking fun to watch.
Well, he's going up against his nemesis, so now's the time.
Mm-hmm.
He's going up
truly.
against his buddy and his nemesis. Oh, dear.
Well, speaking of nemesis, let's talk about my nemesis. Let's talk about Joe Barry, shall we? Let's talk about this defense. Is Joe Barry saving his job, Corey? I love that. That's like a headline on every Packers show right now. Everything I've watched and consumed this week, whether radio, podcast, YouTube, whatever it is, Barry saving his job? I ask you, Corey.
I mean, I've been saying he's going to save his job. I've been saying he's saving his job. I said that. I said that in week 16. I said it in week 17, 18, wherever fucking week we're in now. And I said that. I said if we beat the Cowboys, I just don't see how he doesn't save his job. And I guarantee if we beat the Niners, if we even get close to the Niners and it's not defense, what's the excuse?
Right.
Why would we get rid of him? Why would you change what's supposed? I do want to say this. I do think there was this there was some time in week 14 or 15 where there was a lot of flack from the players about communication, and it was after I think it was after the Buccaneers loss, but it might have been right before the game before the Buccaneers loss, and I'm not 100% sure. I started to research it or 2 nights ago during Patreon happy hour. And then I just got lazy and I stopped working on that. But there was this whole thing. There was this whole thing about communication with the defensive players, and it was like Devondre Campbell. I believe Jair got in the mix, and it was kind of like the defensive leaders talking about communication. And I kind of get this vibe that the communication level was really, and we talked about this, like Savage coming back. How much did that play into the communication level getting better from the Packers?
It seems to have really affected things. Yes,
it does. And one thing from the defense, because it's so easy to blame Joe Barry for everything, but one thing from the defense that has been better over time is they're seemingly on the same page when it comes to defensive plays. They're still giving up yards. They're still, zone soft in the middle, like, we come to expect from the Green Bay Packers defense, no matter who the defensive coordinator is. But
for years now, years.
But there is this gelling and coalescence that at least from a perception, from my own perception over the last 5 or 6 weeks, that I feel like has been happening, which is just, probably just growth and maturity with the way this team interacts with each other and players maturing around communicating with each other better. So I think that plays into, like, what if Joe Barry's responsible for that piece, right? Which I don't think he is, but again, we don't know, we don't really know.
That's the tough part, right? Because you can't really pinpoint it, because you can look back and draw a line to the embarrassment against the Buccaneers, where LaFleur's up there the following day saying, I need to be more involved on the defensive side of the ball. And since that point, things have changed. Not always for the better. That next week in Carolina, they got kind of run up and down the field by one of the worst offenses in the league. So it took a bit of time. But since that moment, that's been the changing point as far as not only the production or what they've done as a defense on the field, but to your point, the communication. And I'm right there with you. I think Savage, having been out and then coming back in, I mean, obviously everyone looks at the pick six from Sunday against the Cowboys. Monster play, incredible play, good
Huge
call
play
from Joe Barry as well. Another good call. But, man, Savage seems to be, while not a huge playmaker prior to that play, definitely not in the kind of realm of a Nick Collins or Leroy Butler from the past that we've got in our minds as far as what we expect from that position as Packers fans. He certainly seems to be the guy as far as making sure the defense gels, getting those calls completely throughout pre-snap. And he's he's doing some of the dirty work down by the line of scrimmage, which is where he tends to work best. So, yeah, I mean,
and I wonder,
there's a lot of factors at play.
I wonder back to Barry, and this is kind of like, obviously, like, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. but I wonder if because we saw
podcast. Yeah.
We saw so little pressure from the Packers early on in the season, just so little. It was just like, soft ass coverage, the whole Nagler rant, everything. But, I wonder if part of this waiting for them to communicate with each other, because now you're seeing a lot of pressure. Now you're seeing things that we didn't really do in the beginning of the season, in the middle of the season, and you're seeing, I wonder if it's this confidence in the team. It's more than likely it's a mix. It's Matt LaFleur kind of going, what the fuck are we waiting for? What are we doing? Why aren't we adjusting? and then a little bit of, hey, this team is communicating. I can trust them a little bit more to do some of the things that, before we might have had more hesitancy. And it goes to, the coaching staff early on, especially, and I think in the last 2 years, one of the vibes, and we've talked about this a little bit, is, do we know when to play players, when to give players a chance? Because it always feels like you hold on to a player because you're like, oh, they're really good, and then that doesn't give the up-and-coming player a chance, and then we're like, oh my God, this player's injured, and then the up-and-coming player comes on and they're actually better than the person before them. And so I feel like potentially this season has kind of taught this coaching staff how to really evaluate young players faster, because it definitely felt like the Packers were not good at doing that in the last 2 or 3 years.
I totally agree with you. And now they've kind of been forced to, right? Especially on the offensive side, but even somewhat on the defensive side, dependent on the position. I think, there's been obviously a youth movement. And look, you can make your bones about whatever, but you can't argue with the fact that almost across the board, I mean, maybe not every single one, but most of these guys have improved throughout the season. And what you're talking about right there hasn't always been the case. Has not always been I mean, we've sat here at the end of seasons and said, did any of these guys really improve? This season
well, and you
is
almost
certainly the case.
Savage last year, right? I'm talking about Savage
Right?
now. Savage
Perfect-
last year
perfect
felt
example.
like he
Perfect
got
example.
worse. The other thing is
Yep.
like this whole Enigbari. Like, is Enigbari that much better than Lucas Van Ness in practices? What is the turning point? Is it only Enigbari getting injured that's the turning point for someone to beat? Like, it almost feels like there's not really a competition every week of like, hey, should you be the starter this week? Because I would look, if you look at Lucas Van Ness's snap count from week 6 to the last 2 games of the season, they're low. And you're like, well, what are they saving the guy, or is Enigbari just that much better? And so it does play to this, like, when do you put a player over the other player? Is it just the respect that you have for them as a human being, which is valid, by the way? Like, injuries shouldn't cause a starter to lose their starting position, but like, I think this season, if it's taught us anything, it's that we should be evaluating players on almost an every other week or weekly basis on whether someone still deserves to be the starter or not. I don't know. I don't know that we
I think
do
that's
that.
something. No, but that's something I would understand in a program like this, right, where there's a lot of youth, and you are kind of completely ripping the Band-Aid roster-wise and reshuffling and resetting. I think it makes sense. But, football coaches by nature are pretty damn stubborn, and they do want to see a lot before they make a move. I mean, look no further than the offensive line, where I think most of the evidence is there to tell you that, Sean Rhyan should be starting, but they're continuing to play Runyon. And Runyon's playing well. I don't think he's been playing poorly. I think Ryan's clearly the future starter there, but they're going to ride this out, this rotation that they've got going, right? And on the other side, you look at left tackle, Rasheed Walker played so well at one point that they finally stopped that rotation.
Like week 4.
Nine,
right? Like week 4, right? Yeah.
So,
well, and then you can't. I know we're not on offense, but you cannot say enough about the play of Zach Tom over the last, 6 or 7 weeks, which is pretty incredible.
Zach Tom Bombadil locking it down. Absolutely, absolutely love it. You know what they're not locking down, though, Corey? You know what's a major problem? Going to be a major problem, I think, on Saturday. Tight ends, man. We saw it again. They haven't been good against tight ends all year. And then you go into Dallas, and Ferguson is pretty much the only dude who hurts you offensively. Now, some of it was during, quote, garbage time, but even when the game was somewhat in balance, they didn't have an answer for him. And now here comes George Kittle. This is going to be a tough assignment.
George Kittle is a little injured, so that might help us.
That might be it.
We got to take everything we can get here.
Everything we can get. Not that we're advocating injury, unlike some ESPN.
No, but he is.
That's not what we do here.
He is,
but he is banged up.
Also,
yes.
that was terrible. Speaking of people, I don't understand why they have jobs. When I was talking about Carton, like there's another guy who how does he have a job? Really?
Yeah, because he's a former Packer.
Radio.
You know that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got.
It's radio. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Yes, he does. Let's talk about this.
I'm not going to mention why
game,
he shouldn't have his job, but I believe some things like that should probably disqualify you. But what do I know?
Well, clearly, if Carton's a felon and he's got a job here in New York, I mean, all bets are off, right? It's all good.
Yep.
The Packers are 9.5-point underdogs, Corey. So it's like week by week we get a bigger and bigger underdog role, and I, for one, absolutely love it. Please, make us 15-point underdogs, please. I love the idea that the Packers are counted out. They don't have a chance. They're going to get blown out. Absolutely.
If this team,
all of that.
If this team learned one thing from Aaron Rodgers, it's how to operate with a chip on your shoulder at all times. This team, when you see these guys, Jaden Reed, after the game, they counted us out. They said they thought and these guys definitely. I love this team. I think this team has really. What's incredible to me about this Green Bay Packers team is how galvanized fans are so quickly around this team.
Yep.
And so much of that is Jordan Love, but so much of that is just the way these guys carry themselves, the way they talk about each other, the way that they operate. It's pretty incredible, and I've never seen that. We definitely didn't see that when Aaron Rodgers came on. It took a lot longer for us to be there, but to a man and woman fan, I just think that there's very few people who aren't completely madly in love with this team.
As they should be. They're freaking exciting. And it's happened, like we were talking about earlier, it's happened so quickly. Like, what? So that's why I'm like, 9.5-point underdogs, you're fine. Cool, man. Like, keep counting us out. Keep dismissing us. I understand the 49ers are really, really good because they are. I'm not denying that. Yeah. But like, people seem to think that the Packers, it's always but. Yeah, you beat the Cowboys, but here come the 49ers. Okay, fine. We'll play on your field, which might be a little muddy because it's supposed to rain. I love that this could be a mud bowl. You know why? I want to harken back, Corey Behnke. Remember that playoff game back in the 90s when we had, obviously Favre, but you had Desmond Howard returning punts and their jerseys because they'll be in the whites. You get in that mud, and all of a sudden that white jersey gets all messed up and dirty and muddy. That's what I want on Saturday. I want muddy-ass, white road Packer jerseys kicking 49ers ass. I'm looking forward to that.
I'm down with that.
And then did you know this is the 10th postseason meeting between these two teams, the most between any two teams in NFL playoff history? We're making history, baby.
Really?
Yeah, I know. I had the exact same response when I read that today.
I mean, the Niners are a classic team, so it's weird to think of them
really
because they're West
for
Coast.
A long time.
They're a classic team, yeah,
no doubt. But yeah,
it's interesting.
I mean, more history on the way. Absolutely.
I mean, the Dallas Cowboys won 16 games at home, and on the 17th game, they lost
to the Packers.
That's crazy.
Came in and just
That's crazy. That's just crazy, though. When I tell people that, when I'm like, yeah, did you realize Dallas hadn't lost at home in 16 times before?
Mm-hmm.
That's not a joke. That's pretty incredible.
It's a serious
I don't
winning
even
streak.
think the Packers. I don't think the Packers have ever had that close to a winning streak at home. Maybe they have, but I don't think they have.
You are crazy, sir. Yeah, they were
not
in the 20s,
playoff games.
almost. No, yeah, under Holmgren, of course, and then Vic came in and ruined it all. Yeah, they
that's right.
Back in the day.
Well, before I
did.
watched them lose to the Giants, they had never lost a playoff game at Lambeau Field. So, thanks, Brett. Thanks for finding the fucking open receiver at the end of the goddamn game that was right in front of your face instead of throwing it to the one guy that can intercept the ball. Oh, thanks, Jarrett Bush, for not fucking falling on the ball and ruining my whole entire life. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Not that you're holding on and bitter about it or anything.
Hey, I taught Aaron Rodgers. What can I say?
Let's get the blogosphere.
This week in the Packer blogosphere.
That's right. It's This Week in the Packer blogosphere, the return of that venerable series. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, coming off of that game, obviously a ton of content out there in the blogosphere, but one dude, in our estimation, reigned supreme. Our own Tyler Herrick absolutely knocked it out of the park this week with this video. Roll it.
Better than a bye for Dallas. I think this is because I think Jordan Love's good, and I think he's going to be very good, but it's his first playoff game. It's a road environment. His team's a heavy underdog. I don't see a scenario where not only the Packers win, where it's close.
Love, Jones getting near the goal line. Is he in? He is! Touchdown, Green Bay on the opening drive.
Should the Cowboys be worried about Green Bay?
No, I don't think so. It's a road game for the Green Bay Packers, and their defense has been very, very shaky, to say the least. They're not that impressive.
3rd and 5, 4-man rush. Prescott looks, and it's intercepted. Jair Alexander, he's got it, up on his feet, racing to the end zone, and he's in!
There's kind of this feeling of, are the Cowboys going to lose to the Green Bay Packers? No. They're going to blow the Packers out and win by double digits because that's what they do at home.
Pressure, back foot throw, end zone, it is caught for the touchdown on TV and
The Dallas Cowboys in a boat race. What? A boat race against the Green Bay Packers. A 45-24. It's still a boat race. 45-24.
There's Prescott. The middle is going to be picked off, and no one in front of him. Darnell Savage. Touchdown. Jones again, running left, running up the middle, and running in for a touchdown. The third today for Aaron Jones. Fake it to him here. Love, back foot, has a man wide open. It's going to be caught by Musgrave. Racing towards the end zone. He is in.
Musgrave, stayed on his feet.
On the fake. Love zips it in there and it's caught for the touchdown, Romeo Doubs. And that will do it. They come into Dallas. They hand them their first loss here all year and the number 7 seed. This young team surprising everyone.
I can't get enough of that video. It's got like 200,000 plus views on YouTube, and I think 100,000 of those are me. Like, I love that video. Outstanding work, Tyler. So freaking good.
Well, and apparently Carton doubled down, so we've got some footage already.
Oh yeah, he did. Oh yeah, ready to go. I also enjoyed this comparison from the Athletic beat guy that covers the 49ers. The 49ers are a bit like the Death Star. They're an overall awesome power, but there are also few cracks we discovered on close inspection. That's Matt Barrows. Unfortunately, like, you'll go and you look at the article and it's like, oh, they've got bad special teams. What's one of the few teams in the league that has worse special teams? Oh, it's the Green Bay Packers.
The Green Bay Packers, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Although I
the
will
weakness
say,
he points out.
That's one of them. There's like 4 or 5. The one that
What
I
are
think
the other
Packers
ones?
can possibly take advantage of is the lack of depth in their secondary. Like, the Packers roll deep at wide receiver, as we all know.
Yeah.
If they can get them blocked up front, and that's a monster if, there are definitely, ways to take advantage downfield against the 49ers. It's just all about being able to block them and block Bosa particularly. We'll see.
Exactly. I have two thoughts on, I kind of go back to what you said on the Patreon happy hours that, we've never had an answer for Bosa. And
Nope.
I do think Matt, potentially that's probably his biggest, challenge going into this game, and he knows that. Like, there's no way he doesn't know that. But I also think, given the way the line has played, like, I don't think he's going to be stupid enough to do what he did in the early and middle of the season, is just, act in denial that, we can do 5-step and 7-step drops and just like pray that the line blocks.
That we're
So I don't
gonna
think he's going to do that. He didn't do that against the Cowboys, and I also don't know that the night I feel like there's going to be a lot of trickery in the first quarter by Matt and Shanahan. There's going to be fake blitzes and things. They're going to try to make it look like they're blitzing us and not blitz us to try to get that early pick. And then we're going to be doing a lot of reverses, and we're going to be doing, we're going to have 3 kind of trick plays early on.
Trying to get those linebackers, because look, they're linebackers, Fred Warner in particular, but they don't come off the field. Like, we just faced the Cowboys, who played a ton of dime, and now we're facing the Niners, who never play dime, and they keep those 2 backers in there all the time. And to your point, Corey, yes, I think we'll see not just like end arounds, but misdirection, draw plays, counters, things to try and get them, just get their eyes in the wrong spot for a second, maybe hopefully take a little bit of advantage there. Not that it'll be easy, because those guys are fucking amazing. But I love that comparison.
What?
The Death Star. Because, Jordan Love, man, he's the new hope. He's
Anytime
Luke Skywalker
somebody
in
talks
X-Wing.
about Star Wars, you love it. That's right. You're such a slut for Star Wars.
I am a Star Wars slut. It is true.
They talked about the Death Star. Let me put it on Transplants, guys.
You darn right. You darn right.
No, I mean, I do think there is something to be said about the amount of wide receivers we have that are very good, and the amount of slants that you've seen from the Green Bay Packers late in the season, I think, is really, really, really exciting personally for me. I know Jordan missed a couple, but
I was going to say we need Jordan to hit those, but yes,
yeah, we need him to hit those. But I do think those are the kind of things that being able to have, we have more weapons in our arsenal than we've had. especially the second half of the season. And you see new weapons. So you know Matt's going to have a bunch of new slivers. What I worry about is that we get back, hopefully we don't get back to the middle of the season where it's all about new slivers and our execution just suffers. But it doesn't seem like this team has that, and the way that they're playing with abandon, they don't really, they stay in games, and we haven't
they know the
really
plan. They execute.
We haven't been blown out all season.
I mean, the closest that Thursday nighter against the Lions, we kind of made it a game at the end a bit, but it was out of hand. That was like 27-3 at half. I mean, that's the biggest kind of deficit we've had all season. And that was week 4.
And we still almost had a chance to win at the end.
Yep.
Or at least
I
tie.
feel you.
So, I mean,
get back, I mean, before that Quay Walker penalty, I mean, that kind of ended it. But yeah, no, they've been in
and that's
every game.
Way
Absolutely.
early in the season, right? That's pretty early in the season.
Very different team.
And then Thanksgiving we were just like, oh, the Lions? Who are these Lions you speak of?
Well, that was the start of it. No doubt. I mean, this kind of resurgence here in the back end of the season started with that go ball to Christian Watson first snap of the game against Detroit, and they've kind of just been building from there. And I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. And I also love that so many people are here on YouTube chatting it up. Let's get to some of their chats there, Corey.
Dustin Logan, O-line craft appreciation post, keeping love upright. Thanks to Super Chat, Dustin, 100%.
Amen.
And Aaron Jones. Mike Witt, not going to lie, guys, I was starting to have Seattle PTSD that last 7 minutes. Sunday, Nags, I personally would have picked Musgrave TD for hotness. Go Petco.
Sweet.
I mean, yeah, I understand. Yeah, I think that Jaden, it was such a crazy play that's just like almost no. I actually don't think many quarterbacks in the NFL could make that play to read a touchdown. I just don't. They wouldn't even try it. To Wicks, Wicks. Yeah. Joe Mailman, thanks for the super chat. Hey, Aaron, saw your post from 2010 about why it's always important for Packers to beat the Cowboys. Well done, good sir. Keep up the good fight. Thank you, Joe, for the super chat.
Joe.
Massimiliano Margagliati, what a game in front of us. Let's go. Fire emojis.
Go,
time
M.
for JP. I can't stop watching the video of Big Cat's Hank running into that wall with his Cowboys jersey on. I haven't seen that. That's got to be funny. Ian.
Perfect.
Hey, brothers. Barry will have the defense perform the way they did in San Fran January 22nd playoff game, and special teams will be much more improved, hence the reason we got Rich. Aaron, as always, the Packers are winning, right?
Let's go, Ian. Packers taking down the 49ers, going to the NFC Championship game. Book it.
That would be awesome. Doug Hype TV, go Pack go. Finally, everyone is front-running the Packers in the media. Let's go. Not quite.
What's up, Doug?
Except for Carton. But he doesn't count. He's an idiot. Mike Witt,
right.
Not going to lie, I thought it was over when we traded Rasul. Ooh, nice point. Nice point. I think a lot of people did. I think a lot of people thought they gave up in the season, including I said that. I said that on
punting on the season was what?
Are we?
Yep, that's what a lot of people said.
I thought that, and then the way that our team kind of picked up, and then Ballantyne playing really well. I think we didn't realize what we had. Honestly, Terminal Frost. We want the ball, and we are going to score. Okay, but
now you're talking about language.
But yeah, we shouldn't say that out loud, though. Chris Lemos, I hope McDuffie can go. I think mixing him in was huge. Wasn't impressed with Campbell. I thought, is McDuffie possibly playing this weekend?
Yeah, he's been practicing. So he could
I didn't
go.
realize that. I thought he was out. That's awesome. That's great.
No, it is good. It's encouraging. Nothing's for sure. Real quick on the Campbell thing. I thought he actually played okay. I don't think he looked as kind of a step slow the way he had prior to sitting out those couple weeks. And look, he was in position to make that interception. Just couldn't get his hands around the football and bring it in, right? But it's good to see he was in position to do so. I think, is he an all-pro? The all-pro we saw his first year in Green Bay? No. But I thought he played better than you're maybe giving him credit for.
Luke Carnes, love having you guys another week. Let's go.
What's up, Luke?
Thanks, Luke. Wendy Vance, going to San Francisco. Can't wait to cheer on the Pack. Wendy, have a great time.
Have a great time, Wendy.
Tron God 714. Okay, I'm officially drinking the Jordan Love Kool-Aid. Holy shit. P.S. Bought JJ's jersey preseason. Had hopes he'd develop. Huge bummer. Thank you, Tron God, for the super chat. Chris, KG19, what do we think? Draft a safety later and have a Micah Hyde homecoming? That would be lovely. By the way, Packers 31-20 W. Remember that score. Go, Pack, go. Thanks, Chris, for the super chat. Appreciate it.
Love it, Chris.
Uncultured Barbarian Nags, if the 49ers of the Death Star, we have no worries. Our QB used to bullseye Womp Rats in his T-16 back home.
There's a fellow nerd.
There's another
fellow
Star Wars
nerd.
slut. Ian, thanks for super chat. Hey, Corey and Aaron, I'm ready for a Vegas trip and game in a few weeks. You in? Thanks for all you guys do. Go, Pack, go. Corey predicted up. Yeah, of course we're in. We're always in for the Super Bowl. Come on, who's not in for the
100%.
Super Bowl?
Let's go.
Who's not in for the Super Bowl? Uncultured Barbarian. This week on Behnke on the Beat, Corey tells Cowherd to kindly get off of Love Island for his comments earlier in the season. Yeah, I love this. Who is it? Keyshawn and Cowherd and everybody. Oh, get on that bandwagon. Let me get on the bandwagon. It's like you literally talk so much shit, you fucking losers. Bunch of losers. Porkmaster.
Exactly.
How can you not be romantic about the Packers? I agree, Porkmaster. Thank
It's
you for the
hard.
Super chat. Lambo Leo, win or lose Saturday, been an awesome ride with you guys this season. I'm always here to make memes for all the haters. Go, Pack, go. Thanks for the memes, Lambo.
Thanks, Leo.
Uncultured, Corey's not that bitter. I'm still bitter about Buckley and Ahmad effing Carroll. Not bitter about Mandarich because change came from that. What about Justin no, what was his name?
Harrell. Justin Harrell.
Justin Harrell. What a bust.
Lord.
Wow. I feel like he was more of a bust than Ahmad Carroll. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Mike Witt, thanks for the super chat. Carlson wins it in overtime. Corey's boy wins it, LOL. No, that's not happening. There's no overtime here.
Why not? It could happen.
I don't want overtime. I like my life. Com 1000. Wisco kids believe in love on repeat. I've met Wisco. I've met the guy who runs Wisco Kids. He hangs out at Stage 1 a lot. Those guys are great. Love the song. And, we need to pub that more.
The track is great. Yeah.
We need to pub that more. I need to repost that. Tyler is a beast. Cheesehead TV worldwide. Thanks, Ian, for the super chat.
Thanks,
Mike
Ian.
Witt. The Cowboys game reminded me of the 95 divisional game when we went to Candlestick and upset them. Craig Newsom fumble return to start it. Memories. I like that. I like that Craig Newsom pull. I like that. I appreciate that.
That's a
very much.
Great game.
Porkmaster, Jerry fumbled when I was like 7. Might be my first lucid memory. Packer fans aren't bitter. We just never forget.
That is 1,000% correct, sir.
Chris I'm bitter. I'm bitter about a lot of shit, and I don't know why. I need to get over it. Chris KG19, Tay's breakout versus Cowboys 2014. Dobbs breakout last week. I'll live with that. I'll live with that.
Bit different, but I like it. I do like it. I'll say that. I mean, there's no way, you can look at that and not get excited about Romeo Dobbs. My God.
Mark J., that was the sickest hype video of the season. I agree, Mark. And it's going to get
zero question.
Well, I here's the thing. It could be right now, but I have an expectation that next week it's going to be the sicker one. So, let's go. Peter Lohr, what are your thoughts on Purdy? Brock Purdy. He's Purdy.
I think it's the whole conversation around this kid is really weird. I mean, he's coming off a season where he did get hurt in a playoff game where he had helped his team out of nowhere, right? So now we've had an offseason where defensive coordinators are able to pick apart his game, and they really haven't figured out a way to stop him on the regular, right? Like, yes, he'll have the odd game, like against the Ravens, where a number of those interceptions were somewhat, quote, lucky, kind of fluke bounces, whatever. But it's not like they've cracked the code on the kid. He's really smart with the football, and he's really smart about the game, and he's got obviously a ton of weapons out there helping him. But I mean, I don't get the slander. I really don't. Now, he's not some rocket arm. There's a reason he was taken last in the draft, and the athletic traits aren't really there. But man, you don't have to be a gifted athlete. Look at Tom Brady. I mean, he did pretty well for himself, and he was drafted in the 6th round. So I mean, he's smart with the ball, man, and he knows where to get guys into position as far as pre-snap stuff, just kind of like we've seen from Jordan. So I think he's pretty damn good.
The 49ers have proven they can put a freaking napkin out there and they're good. Toby Aronson, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it. PacFan39, can the O-line hold up? If so, Pac win. I would say, can the O-line, the tight ends, Aaron Jones,
the whole operation,
and
yes.
Josiah DeGuara, we win. Colin Groom, thanks to Super Chat. Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good Behnke rant at your side, Nagler. Pack by 10 at least. I hear that, Colin.
A fellow Star Wars slut. I love it.
Charlie
Thanks,
Toussaint, I know beat the 49ers, but do you want Lions or Buccaneers?
I just want to beat the 49ers. I don't care.
I actually don't care. I really don't want the Buccaneers, but at the same time, I feel like we have the Buccaneers number.
That defense is legit. It did give us trouble, and they're hitting their stride.
Yeah, they're kind of in this interesting place. Carl Van Beckham, I'd like to see Wayne Simmons-like tone-setting play to start the game on Saturday. IH and Kraft, pancake block of Bosa. Let's go. I'm down with that.
Wayne Simmons. What a blast from the past.
Soder, you want the Bucks or Lions next week? I think we want the Lions based on what we just said, but we don't. Andres Samaya. What's up, Andres? Andres, actually, just shout out to him real quick. Andres created the Blogosphere video, the intro we have for Blogosphere.
Right. Oh, my God.
He is
Ages
the original.
ago.
He made it. We commissioned him to build it. He built a bunch of awesome – he's an awesome animator, and I love that. I love the Blogosphere intro. It's freaking awesome. So thank you, Andres, for doing that. Andres Amaya, flying from Montreal tomorrow night to San Fran. First playoff game. 3-0 so far when I'm in the game. NFC Championship confirmed, baby. Love it, Andres. Have
Taking
a great
one for the team.
time.
That's what I like to see.
Have a great time. Manuel Rodriguez, thoughts on the Devontae Wyatt comment? What did he say?
Oh, he's talking about getting pressure on the quarterback and, he's going to throw a pick. Like, yeah, that's football. Like, and everyone, my
that's good.
pick
I
this
like
week
that.
was,
What's
like,
not to
Schneidman, though, then pointing it out, putting out that quote, clearly talking to the man at his locker, and he says this thing like, we know it's a done deal. If we get pressure on him, he's going to, put the ball in jeopardy. And then, Schneidman adds on this little note like, Brock Purdy is number 1 in the NFL when pressured, or something from probably PFF or whatever. And it's like, that doesn't change what he just said. I mean, there is no quarterback in the history of football who enjoys pressure or thrives on it when they're getting hit, balls bouncing up and, forcing some kind of mistake. That's the whole point. That's all you want to do up front is cause havoc. Put pressure on the quarterback. Like, I don't know why it's treated like this. Oh, my God, he said some bulletin board material. Like, literally every defensive lineman is thinking the exact same thing going into every single football game. It's the biggest nothing burger of all time.
Is Matt Schneidman? I think Matt Schneidman this season has become the most annoying beat reporter. It used to be Bill Huber for me.
Close.
There's just an annoyance that I have. Oh, you're saying Ryan Wood and Bill Huber go ahead of him?
No. I'm going to go with everyone who doesn't go there on the regular, but then shows up, usually for television, and asks
they're not beat reporters, though. They're not beat
dumbest
reporters.
questions.
There are only 6 beat reporters.
But they're on the beat.
No. There's only 6 beat reporters, okay? Matt Schneidman, Ryan Wood, Wes Hodkiewicz, Rob Domofsky, Bill Huber. Who am I missing? Maybe there's only 5.
I mean, Paul Brettel, he's there on the regular now.
Oh, yeah, Paul Brettel. Well, he does beat word, so he's like beat. Because I'm not putting Tom Silverstein or Pete Doherty because they're columnists, right? Even though they're there.
Right.
So, there's 6. So who's the most annoying? Okay, yeah, TV people annoy. I get it. They're annoying. We already know that. They're just all annoying, okay? All radio people are annoying. Okay, whatever. Even our friends at iHeart, they're all annoying. Okay, so who are the most of that? The only people that aren't annoying to me are so who is the of the 6 what I just said? Who is the most annoying? In my opinion, this year, for every year, I would have given the gold statue, and I don't know why. Aaron doesn't know why, but Bill Huber just annoys the shit out of me. I don't know why. It's probably because of the questions, but everybody loves his questions when I talk to them because they're like, he's just trying to get shit started, and I totally get it. It's just always annoyed me. But now I think Matt Schneidman won this year. I think he won the marathon. He
Behnke Lombardi Trophy for most annoying beat reporter. None of them annoy me because I know it's a tough gig and I know what goes into it, and I think they all do a really good job.
I think they all do a really good job, but a couple 2-3 of them.
2-3?
Yeah, I'm just gonna put that out there. David Williams. Nags, I believe.
You darn right you do, David. You darn right you do.
Zeke G had a great time waving the Cowboys fans goodbye this past Sunday.
That's great.
Janice
Great job, Zeke. Keep it
L. Janice, I love this team, pun intended. This has been the most excited I've been to watch them in years. I can't wait to see how these young kids do every week. Win or lose, the future is so exciting. I couldn't agree with you more, Janice. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Janice.
Uncultured Barbarian, I'll see your Harrell and raise you Derek Sherrod. But does it really raise it, though? I feel like Harrell's still above.
Derek was actually somewhat serviceable, and then he had the knee injury, and then he was done. Justin Harrell was just like, meh, from the moment
Justin
he
Harrell
got
was
drafted.
trash. Yeah, it was just like a wasted pick.
That was a tough pick, man. That was a tough pick.
Yeah, it was just wasted. Charlie Toussaint, you think the 2 weeks off affects the game? Great question.
I do wonder about it, because we've seen that now since they've, not even since they've gone to the one bye week, only one team gets it, and that has seemingly, helped as far as injuries go. But, man, you talk about timing, and the way the Packers are playing is a perfect antidote to this, right? As far as having their timing and playing so well cohesively, keeping that kind of momentum going week by week. Man, over the course of the last 5-6 years, it sure seems like that tends to come up and bite one of these one seeds almost every single season. So, who knows? Maybe it's the 49ers. I'm down with it. I love this idea. But I think they're too talented and too well coached for that to be a reality. But I'd love it if that's what transpired early in the game on Saturday night.
Yeah, so I see some people in the comments. So Wildy's not a beat reporter, and Bukowski hasn't seen 1265 in, ever.
Dude,
he doesn't even count.
He's never been in the Bukowski's never been in
dude.
the media auditorium. Yeah,
exactly. I've been in the media auditorium, and that I don't know why they let me in, but I've been there. I've actually did I ever ask a question though? I don't think I asked a question. I was too afraid.
You never asked a question.
But I've been in there. But yeah, Bukowski definitely doesn't count. Although I will say, I don't know who's more annoying to me right now, Bukowski or Wildy. That's hard. That's really hard for me personally right now. I'm going to be honest with you. Because they both.
That's saying something. I thought that would be Bukowski in a walk.
No, Wildy has the same problem Schneidman has, where he just doesn't want to deal with his camera ever, and he just decides.
So this is
what?
production.
Technology. But he also he's Wildy, so it's just Wildy is like your rich kid friend.
Right.
You know how you have a friend and they're just really fucking rich. And I say that because Wildy's like the privileged beat reporter. He worked in Madison and he had his own office in Lambeau and all this stuff. And he was in the right place at the right time. But he thinks that just means I'm privileged. He's kind of he's like the rich kid. I don't know. He just has that vibe. He's like the rich kid who got pushed out. And now he doesn't know where he is, and he found himself on this radio island where, they're not even the Packers network anymore. They're just kind of this castaway branded ESPN, but not really ESPN radio show. It's weird. Also, Jen Latta with Chewy. I don't get it. People, everybody annoys me. Here we are. Mike Witt, thanks for super chat.
Wait a second. Whoa. Jen Latta doesn't annoy you.
No, Jen Latta does not annoy you. Okay. Jen Latta does not annoy me. It annoys me that Jen Latta is on a show with Mark Chimero.
I got you.
Right? That's a little distinction of the difference.
Very different. Just making sure.
There is nothing that I ever want to hear from Mark Chimero. I don't care. I just don't. I'm sorry.
Understandable.
Does that make me a bad person? Then that's fine.
Nope.
I'm okay with it. Mike Witt, thanks for super chat. John Michaels was a worse pick than Harrell, in my honest opinion.
Yeah, no, not even close. I mean, he wasn't a great pick, but nowhere near as bad as Harrell.
I feel like it's Tony Mandrich than Justin Harrell.
A case could be made.
I mean,
could be made.
Who I mean, I might put A.J. Hawk up there, but I wouldn't put him like in the top
Oh,
3.
stop.
Just
Stop.
kidding.
Not even close.
You're
just trying to start shit.
Of worst first picks of all time, he's in the top 20. Okay? I'm just going to say that right now. Okay?
Okay.
He's in the top 20 worst first round picks of all time.
So arbitrary. Okay.
No,
very good.
There's a case
It's like
to
you're
be
trying
made.
to create a window so you can talk about it. Like, that's it.
Yeah, of
like,
course.
there's no reason.
Ian, fellas, I'm going to need to Venmo you all to FedEx me a case of Carry the G to the Vegas location once I book a room, LOL. Ian, we'll be bringing Carry the G. We'll have it at we'll have it on Radio
available.
Row. We'll have it on Radio Row if the NFL credentials us
They
again,
allow it.
potentially.
Well, they'll credential us. I don't know
Carl
about the
Van-
beer, though. That might be a
Yeah,
problem.
I'll sneak it in. I'll get kicked out for it. It'll be great.
That would
Sir,
be great, actually.
you
Good
need
content.
to leave. And as long as we get video of me getting kicked out, it'll be
Yep.
like when Dave Portner
Gold.
get kicked out by the NFL. Just be gold.
Yep.
Also,
Perfect.
Barstool, we know you hate the Green Bay Packers. Stop fucking making merch about the Green Bay Packers for Packers fans to buy. We know you hate the Green Bay Packers. Like, of all the teams in the NFL, you are not a Packer fan. You do not like the Packers. You fucking have Big Cat as your fucking person who hates the Green Bay Packers. Dave Portner only likes the Patriots. Like, what are we doing here? Stop.
No.
Stop.
Hubs. Eric Hubs is a huge Packers fan. Hubs is a great Packers fan.
I'm not with that life. Carl Van
I hear
Beckham,
you.
sorry about the misspellings before. I really want to see the defense communicating with each other on every damn play. They're going to need it. Thanks for the
Yes,
super
they
chat.
are, especially against this offense. Jesus.
Matty Day has an album coming out. Matty Day has a new album coming out. I actually watched an interview on Aaron. I don't know if you know about this underground radio station in Appleton that does music. I bet you know the guy. Yeah, there's this podcast. I watched Matty on it. It's pretty cool. And Matt talks about his album that's coming out. It's, I think, his first solo album. Pretty cool.
That's dope as hell. Congrats,
one day,
Matt.
Matty Day and I are I'm gonna play my drums for him, and he's gonna tell me how terrible I am. But I'm gonna wait until I get good. Well, I'm gonna wait until I get a little better. Matty Day thought last week's game would resemble 09 playoffs at AZ, but fortunately it was closer to 2010 at Atlanta. This week, San Fran's getting some rain. Mud Bowl 2. Cheers, gents. Thanks for the super chat,
Let's
Matty.
go, Matty Day.
Appreciate it. Ian, another chat just because I love supporting Cheesehead TV. Ian, I like the way you think. I really do.
Thanks,
I
Ian.
just like
Bomb.com.
I like it. Toby Haranson, if you were to create the perfect game plan for the 49ers, what would the approach be to get the dub?
I would switch up some of the zone running they like to do and have been so successful at over the course of the last month, because the 49ers, especially along their interior, will eat that shit right up. I would go to a more duo approach up front, a little more power, angle blocking, mix in some counter stuff, and then work your play action. Like we were talking about at the beginning of the show, they aren't very deep in the secondary. They're very good all across the board, but they can get got deep if you work off play action and block them up front, which is the whole problem. That's it on offense. On defense, it's mostly prayer. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I can see that. Or maybe Joe Barry gets late to the game and somebody else has to call the game. That could happen too.
That could work. But hey,
maybe like
let's
Joe
give
Barry
let's
loses
give Joe
his
his due.
credentials.
Let's give Joe his due. The last time they played the 49ers in the playoffs, his side of the ball came to play.
Oh, yeah.
Offense and special teams lost that game for the Packers.
You know what's interesting?
They shut the 49ers down.
You talk about play action, and honestly, the lack of under center play and the lack of play action from the Eagles is really what kind of did them in against the Buccaneers, which is stuff that, it's crazy how,
Seems
the
so
one
simple,
thing,
right?
Yeah, the one thing we do a ton of, we at least, especially the last half of the season, we've gone under center more. We're still doing the shotgun stuff, which is fine, but we are under center more, and we never have hesitated when it comes to play action. Play action's always really, so much a part of our game, and it's funny how much the Eagles lost that that's
Doesn't have any of it.
crazy.
Marshall
it's
Newhouse
crazy.
said it
It's
was
just-
like watching somebody play Madden, all this horizontal screen shit and
it was
no
insane.
answers
Just
for the
they're
blitz at
always in
all.
shotgun. They have an over.
No
they
running,
get the line
yeah.
gets overrun, and it was so insane. Anyway, Cheetos 0218, how happy are we that Green Bay answered the quarterback position when other teams stumble yearly? I'll need to remind myself of this when we do lose on Sunday. We're positioned for success now, though. Remarkable. Good point, Cheeto, but we're not going to lose on Sunday. Come on. Saturday.
I mean, after the Super Bowl,
you know what?
when they've won and they're like doing the parade to Lambeau and Matt's holding the Lombardi Trophy and everyone's cheering, that's when you're going to remind yourself. That's good.
Mike Witt, Nags, any news on Combine? She said carry the G radio from with Bill.
From with Bill. No, it's something we're going to talk to iHeart about, hopefully doing. No word yet, though.
Charlie Toussaint, Harrell or Jones? Dylan playing. We think Dylan's playing. We think that's the carry.
Okay, slow down. He was practicing today, but we don't know to what extent. And
okay, well, I'm going to rephrase that.
I
think Dylan's
I'll
playing.
be surprised if he plays.
You'll be
Harrell or
surprised
Josh
if
Jones?
he plays?
Yes. Harrell or Josh Jones? Come on now. Josh Jones was a bad draft pick, but at least he contributed at times. Harrell did nothing. No. Harrell's the worst pick.
Peter Lohr, Wildy is afraid to ask a straightforward question.
He does tend to have a long
What's
wind-up.
funny is the last time he asked a straightforward question, and I'm making this up, but I'm going to believe it. I'm going to say it like it's true, is when he asked Mike McCarthy, and Mike McCarthy said, I don't need no drama from you, Jason. So I feel like that burned him from asking a straightforward question ever again.
Possibly, but even that one was kind of a wind-up.
It really was.
How ticked off they're feeling. Is there any positive you can take away from this? Jason, I'm not in the mood for any drama tonight, Jason.
You know what's great is Pete asked some really direct questions. This is why he got.
Which is why Coach gets so kind of hot.
Coach got so mad at him because he's like, I don't like the way you're asking that.
It's a BS question, Pete.
That's a BS question. He apologized though. He did apologize.
He did
after that.
the next day,
and which was good on. I did think that was really good on Coach to do that because obviously guys are just doing
because he knows it's not a BS question. That's the other thing. It's it was a perfectly legitimate question. Whatever.
Crash V1, longtime listener, first time caller. I'll keep this quick. Why not us? Go Pack, go! I like it.
Come on,
I
Crash.
like ending on it. I like it. Brandy, why? Brandy's just trying to start shit in the chat, and I'm not even going to acknowledge it because I like Brandy. But
she's so good. She is so good at that shit, man. She'll get you.
Honestly, I could probably have a show where she could just trigger me the entire time, and I would just rant all the
time.
The
entire show. That's not a bad idea. We need content for the off season. That's not a bad idea. I like it. Just Brandy triggering you repeatedly. Speaking of Brandy and all our Patreon members, we want to give you guys a shout out. You really are the lifeblood of Cheesehead TV. Absolutely, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for the support. We really appreciate it. You can join and support the brand. Patreon.com/CheeseheadTV. Also, big time shout out to all the Care of the G Club members here on YouTube. You guys make game day so much fun. Thank you for all the support throughout the year into the off season here on YouTube. We really, really appreciate it. You got anything else for the fine folks at home there, Corey, before we head out?
One last super chat from PacFan39. Very interesting question. Do you think Ted will ever make the NFL Hall of Fame?
That's a good question. I doubt it.
It's
just really hard at that position as a contributor. I just there's such a backlog since they've only introduced that a couple years ago. I doubt it, but that doesn't mean he ain't worthy. I think he absolutely is, but yeah, it's a long shot. I'd say it's a long shot.
Yeah.
That'll do it for this episode of Packer Transplants. We'd like to thank everyone who makes Cheesehead TV part of their daily Packers routine. We are and will always be devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide.
I think it's a fluid situation, and I know you guys love it, especially Nagler. I can see you smirking at me right there. We're going to take it one day at a time, and it's going to be fluid, though. That's all I can tell you.